안녕하세요. 컨셉 아트 이인경입니다. 오늘은 캘리포니아에서 저를 만나러 온 친구 켈리와 함께 비디오를 찍게 되었습니다. 켈리는 저랑 같이 AAU 학교에서 같이 공부했던 친구고 지금은 프리랜싱 일러스트레이터로서 커리어를 쌓아가고 있고 또 저처럼 두 아이를 키우고 있는 엄마이기도 해서 그런 어떤 토픽에 대해서 물어보신 분들에게 좀 도움이 될 만한 그런 이야기들을 해드릴 수 있을 것 같아요. 네, 그래서 오늘 이야기를 같이 해보려고 합니다. Kelley, would you introduce yourself to my subscribers and then viewers?
안녕하세요. My name's Kelley. And yeah, I'm a children's book illustrator and I've been doing it for about 7 years now.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's already 7 years since we graduated school.
I know.
Yeah.
But we haven't aged a day.
That's so true. Okay. Because some people ask me what is the life in AAU, because AAU is one of the really popular art school in US, and also very international student friendly school.
AAU stands for the Academy of Art University, which is a private art school in San Francisco. And yeah, I had a good experience at Academy of Art. I really had a great time there.
You know, there are a lot of a discussion online if the art school is really necessary for the students who want to be artists, because their tuition fee is way too expensive, and then it usually take them to 4 or 5 years to graduate school. So a lot of people are wondering if that is really worth to pay them money, and if that is going to pay back them after they graduate school. What's your thought?
It's true that the private art schools are really expensive, and art careers don't generally pay a lot in the US.
Yeah. Especially when you first just get into the industry, the pay is just surprisingly low. It hardly offers your, the living expense if you are living in city.
Yeah, and if you're freelancing, you're not guaranteed to make any money at all, you know. So I think everyone who wants to study art should take classes, absolutely, wherever you can. I think I've heard a lot of people online say you can just learn everything you need from tutorials online, and I think you can get a lot from that, but I think everybody needs classes still of some kind. But the private art school like AAU, I don't think it's necessary. Especially if you can't afford the tuition and you need to take out loans. Because I would not take out a lot of loans for an art career.
Okay. That is the easiest way to offer your tuition fee while you're in school, and then while you cannot really spend time to take a freelance job or a part-time job. So I don't think there are not many options for students to offer their tuition fee unless they get mortgage.
Yes, there are cheaper schools other than private art schools. Like private art schools like Academy of Art are extremely expensive by US standards. There are cheaper options. And I think if you're just learning the fundamentals, color theory and composition and chiaroscuro, you don't have to have the best, most elite school for that.
Yeah, that's true.
You just have to practice the fundamentals wherever you are.
But I think a lot of people in Korea, they want to study in US or any art school in US for getting more advanced knowledge on top of their basic foundation. I believe that they already very good at doing the foundation, the chiaroscuro or the composition or color theory. We usually have a lot of opportunities to learn that from our school or when we are preparing the college exam. So I think if you'd like to learn a little bit more advanced knowledge, then probably AAU or Art Center can be a best option. That costs a lot. So yeah, it's really hard to strongly recommend to go to art school. But because I've been there, I have studied in the expensive art school, I cannot really deny that gave me some benefits. I could build really good network while I was in the AAU art school because I had a lot of students graduate the school. So they gave me some good advice when I was looking for a new job. And also because they were already in our industry, they could give me some very detailed information about the companies, like what they really looking for from like a portfolio. They didn't directly introduce me to their manager or their HR. That is not really working out, but definitely I think I got some benefit out of my art school. And also AAU has really good foundation classes and also design classes. So that was really best place to prepare my portfolio and then learn some new style that fit into US industry. Because as you know, the preferred style in Korea gaming industry and the US industry is very different. So if you only learn art in Korea and then making art along with the Korean game company style, then it will be a little bit challenging to get job in US companies. So I think if you can afford, then definitely going to art school in US will really give you more benefit. That's my honest thoughts.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't really thought about that perspective. Mm-hmm. My advice to Americans is usually take your foundational classes at an inexpensive community college, then you can get the more specialized classes at a private school like AAU. I think that's what it's best for. But yeah, if you're coming from the international's perspective, that's a little bit different.
Sure. So if you never had the art education experience, then definitely you can start from more the cheaper college first. And then actually school transfer isn't that hard. You can take some foundations classes in cheaper school, and then transfer to the art center or AAU. Then that will cost less because you don't need to take whole year of the classes.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. It's just important to remember that the private art school is very expensive and art careers are not very high paying. And so you want to keep your costs and your debt down as much as you can.
So when I first came in America, the biggest fear of me is speaking in English. And I didn't really expect that people will understand my English speaking because I thought that my pronunciation is so bad. And so overall I was really afraid of speaking in different language. And then when I saw Kelley, you in class, because you also had some experience studying abroad in Japan, so I felt that you are very knowledgeable about like international students, and then always offer some help to international students, like lending like the note you took from the class, and then let them know what was the assignment and gave them more detailed explanation. So I could see that you are more like understandable for the international students. So how was your I don't want to stereotype like people as a group, but when you saw international students like speaking in very beginner level English, how did you feel? Like, did you have any like a big problem of like speaking to them or understanding what they're talking about?
Not really. I was impressed by your English and the English of the other students in the class. I could tell that you guys were so nervous, and our teacher was pretty aggressive.
I remember that the first class I met, the teacher was actually the director of our department, the illustrator department, and he was very experienced illustrator, so he had like a really big pride of himself. And then he was a really nice person, but at the same time he enjoyed like mocking the other people.
I think he gave you guys a pretty hard time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So he just asking me if I'm using my English name in Korea.
So he got so hung up on that.
Yeah, but anyway, but because you and the other really nice classmates, I didn't really have a hard time. But I definitely see that people, Asian, especially Asian international students, have more hard time speaking English, and they less talkative in class, even when that is really required to get really good score, because of giving feedback and also having discussion in class is part of our assessment. So that might be a big part of it. They just, very ashamed of their own speaking.
I can't speak for all the professors because, I did see some professors get frustrated with students in class who couldn't answer questions or couldn't explain things. But at the same time, I think America is a very diverse country, and especially in the big cities, there's a lot of immigrants, a lot of tourists, and there's a lot of people with accents, and we're used to hearing accents, and so I think no one expects your English to be perfect, and we can still understand. In American classrooms, teachers like students to speak up. I think that might be a cultural difference between Asia and the US. Speaking up, asking questions, and even giving your opinion is considered a sign that you're interested in the class and you're listening to the teacher.
Yeah. Not only in school, at work, that is the same. So when I first joined my team in America, I was really silent because I was even more nervous when I started to work because everybody around me is professional, and I afraid of get misunderstood by the other people if I using a wrong term. So I only use very minimal language that I'm really confident of using. So I has been considered as very inactive, as quiet employee, and I just found that they give me a lot of what is the opposite of a benefit? Disadvantage?
Yeah,
I found that gave me a lot of advantages as time passed. So I decided to be more brave and then speaking up, although I wasn't still very confident. So there's one meeting at work, and there were a lot of high executives, and then a studio director. And then there's the Q&A section, and I somehow wanted to show my presence in front of them. So I raised my hand and then tried to ask a question to them, but I felt that my voice was really shaking and didn't really sound like a professional. But while I'm being so very nervous, I also could see that they are all smiling at me and then nodding their heads as if they are understand what I'm talking about. So I could safely just finish my word, and then they gave me the answer to my question. So it was my really good experience. And then I realized that as long as I really want to communicate with others, then I can do that even though my English is not perfect. You can give people a good impression, and then you can always give them clear thoughts. And then if they ask you to repeat your sentence one more time, don't feel so bad. It's because, even in our mother language, we sometimes really can understand what the other people are talking and then ask them to repeat the same sentence. It's really commonly happening. We can just answer one more time with more clear voice. Isn't it just nothing?
Yeah, it just means that they want to understand you.
Yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah, I think it's important to speak up in class and ask questions to the teacher and be willing to talk when they ask, if anybody has any thoughts. I think American teachers really like that. They see it as a sign that you are interested in the class. And even if your English is not perfect, it's okay. I think they would rather have you asking questions and answering questions than than having perfect English but not saying anything.
Yeah, that's so true. And besides of the English stuff, how did you like your the art classes in AAU? Because there's some controversial things about AAU. Some people really like the experience in AAU, while others really didn't recommend the classes.
I really enjoyed my classes at AAU very much, and I had some really good teachers too.
So Kelley pursued children's illustration, and then I decided to go with visual development. And then both majors are in the same department. We are both in illustration major. So it really depends on how you build your career in school. So make sure that you have a really clear goal for your graduation, because just taking classes in school doesn't guarantee that you are going to have a really successful portfolio at the end.
That's one thing I did like about AAU is that they, and in the grad program anyway, they force you to choose a specialty. And they force you to make a portfolio that is for a specific market. You have to choose children's book, comics, concept art, animation, visual development. I think those were the specialties, though it might have changed since then. And you had to choose one, and you had to make a portfolio for that, which I think is a really good way to prepare for a career.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing I really like from AAU is that they are having a lot of workshop programs. So even after finishing your classes, you can go to workshop for free to practice your like gesture drawing or the oil paintings, or even there were sculpting classes too. So yeah, you can practice your art skill for free with like live models and then really good equipment in the school. And then there was always an instructor in the class, so you could even ask your question. So it feels like extended art class you can take for free.
I think meeting other art students who are really serious about art and their future careers was a really valuable part of the school.
Yeah, and then most of the time, the students in the workshop, they are like the most hardworking students in the school. And then you can meet all students from other department and then like a other program. For example, I was in master degree and I could meet a lot of students from undergraduate, and they were really energetic because they are younger than me. So I got a lot of help from them, and then some of them are building very successful career in the industry now.
Yeah. And I'm still friends with some of the people I met at AAU, like Anna. And it's really great to see them doing well in their careers.
Yeah. Okay, so next topic. Then how do you think about usage of the social media when you working as a freelancer, a freelancing artist?
Social media is like the easiest way to see what artists are doing and who is being successful and who's getting noticed. And so you can look at someone's Instagram profile and say, oh, they have 100,000 followers. They must be a famous and successful artist. And then maybe you look at another artist's profile and they have 100 followers. Do you think they're not successful? But it's not always like that. There are a lot of artists who are not doing social media, and they just get work through an agent, or like I said, the emails, the postcards, and other ways of doing it. So a lot of people think that you have to be famous and successful on social media in order to be a successful artist, but it's not true. And I can attest to that because I'm not popular on social media.
yeah, me neither. I ask you because I know that a lot of artists are frustrating because their work couldn't get likes as much as they want. They always wanted to get more 1,000 likes, but sometimes our expectation is wrong. When I post my favorite art, it wouldn't get attention, while my really rough sketches or other disappointing work could get more likes.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to anticipate what people would like about my art. And knowing that the popularity on social media wouldn't directly connect to your career success.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to think about what you want your specialty to be. What kind of work do you want to do? Do you want to do books? You want to do graphic novels? Or a webcomic, or home textiles, or there's so many different kinds of work out there. And what do you want to do? And then look at how you can make your art fit that market. And what the kind of work that you can do for clients and get paid for is often not the same thing that will be popular on social media. Again, I know from experience because I do books for big publishers, and these can be big projects that pay well, and then nobody cares about it on social media, you know? It's just, except for you and my mom, you know, I'll get like 10 likes from my best friends, and then, you know, nobody else is interested in it. And that's kind of been the story of my career, is that I've been making a living for 7 years, and I'm not popular or famous on social media. Social media is one way to get noticed. It is legitimate, and it does really work for some people. Some people, that's how they make their careers, through social media, but not everybody. So if you don't get, if your stuff is not getting lots of likes on social media, that's not a sign that you're doing anything wrong or that your art is not good.
And also, we must be aware that the social media popularity always comes with pay. That comes with unwanted attention from random people, because social media is not only for artists or art directors. A lot of random people see your art and then contact you for another reason. So I don't think like a social media popularity always comes with just benefit.
That's very true. Yeah, I've heard from artists who are very popular in social media that it doesn't always correlate with money. Sometimes a piece can be really popular, but that does not directly bring in any money. And like you said, sometimes it can bring in unwanted attention.
So I even talked about that before I started to date with my husband.
Wow. You're ahead of the game on me. That's good advice. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self to do that.